Now, there's more bad news for Chris Bowen's renewables-only experiment. Turns out the government's blueprint for an energy transition on the east coast of Australia has, you guessed it, significantly underestimated how severe future wind droughts could be, which is casting doubt on whether a weather-dependent grid would be able to keep the lights on.
Yeah, The Australian is reporting the eastern grid is being built on a model that assumes wind power will never fall below 14% of its generation capacity for multiple days.
But an expert study led by Queensland-based Global Power Energy, that's a consultancy group, that shows that wind collapsing to about half that level during 3 separate week-long slumps. For more, we're joined by its Chief Executive, Greg Elkins, who is a former manager of generator connections at AEMO. Greg, thank you for joining us. Why is there such a discrepancy between what you have found and what has been factored into the government's modelling?
First of all, thanks for the opportunity to be here, and a little bit of background on us. Like, we're energy experts. We've been around the space for a long period of time. Just 15 of our own staff have more than 400 years worth of experience. And many of us have worked in this space, both at AEMO and the utilities previously, and we understand the challenge of the job. It was a little bit unfortunate for AEMO in the way that the environment worked out when they were ready to release their report, which they'd been working on for a long time. The environment came out and gave an outcome which was much worse than what had originally been predicted, though noting that their previous estimate was quite conservative. They had taken the worst case scenario for 1 day and extrapolated that out over 8 days. And then, as with the climate change we're seeing at the moment, the future is changing. We don't have full predictability around it. So we need to be able to pivot and change so that we can improve the outcome.
Well, I guess then, what does it say about AEMO? I mean, is there a problem with their modelling? And what does it say for us then?
It means that the work that AEMO's done, it's not that it's wrong. It's actually that it needs to be able to continuously adapt and change. The reason why it's released every 2 years is because the future is uncertain. If we knew the future and we had a crystal ball, then we wouldn't be, in the situation of asking questions we do with many things in life. And so AEMO's real question here is, how do we then pivot and change to ensure that we're incorporating this new information in the next release when it comes out?
Well, just very quickly, Greg, why couldn't they work that out for themselves? I mean, they're meant to be the experts here, aren't they?
It's an interesting perspective, and I don't think it's that they haven't worked it out. It's when do we find out about it, and when do we find out what this change will mean? Because the unfortunate part of pivoting and changing is that the answer is going to be different when you have a look at this. We can see that the government has already started to make strong plans in order to secure with Snowy and looking at ensuring that we have more energy security. What this information is telling us is that we probably need more again. And maybe we need to be thinking about what other mechanisms of energy security can be used.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Greg Elkins, thank you for joining us. Seriously, if they can't work that out themselves,
then we're screwed.
And they need someone else to do the work.
Yeah.
Thank God we have people like Greg working it out, I suppose. But what on earth are we paying for?